guys, another night, another vlog. It's another sleepless night for me. Autumn's sneezing next to me. And my pregnancy story with her is the one I'm going to be talking about in this vlog. Her and my son are polar opposites. He has the light blonde hair and blue eyes, and she has the dark blue eyes and dark hair. And she was conceived around the same time in the end of December, and she was actually in 2018, and well, it would be 2017, and then she was due to be born on Atherin's birthday in 2018. When I found out, I didn't wait as long to tell everyone, but I didn't tell anyone until we had a confirming ultrasound. And, well, I told my friends right away because I kind of hinted at it when I was missing my period, and so I sent a snap of my pregnancy test to my friends. But, yeah, I wanted to get a shirt that said Big Brother on it and surprise my parents and send them a picture, and so that's what I did. And that's how I announced it online, too. Little baby girl. And with her, I was sick throughout my entire pregnancy. I was constantly nauseated and hardly ate, though I gained the most weight with her. Catherine, I gained like 10 pounds. With her, I gained over 30. And, yeah, and with her, I was craving mostly sweets and popsicles, and with her, I didn't really avoid much of anything besides unpasteurized cheeses and obvious, make sure to, well, everybody should make sure they wipe off their fruits and veggies and don't have any raw meat, obviously, or raw undercooked meat, and don't have raw eggs and all that stuff, the obvious stuff to avoid. But I didn't avoid the caffeine. I drank as much caffeine, not too much, but as much as I needed to get through back shifts. Sorry. And sorry, I'm stopping myself. And and I had all the different types of fish I wanted except raw fish, and obviously avoided alcohol and like I said, the obvious stuff. But I didn't restrict myself like I did with my son, and I was a lot less anxious and worried with my pregnancy with her because I was on Zoloft at that point, and I still took my low dose of Zoloft through my entire pregnancy with her. Yeah, I still had my Zoloft going, and it was still working really well for me, and it obviously didn't seem to affect her at all. And like my nurse practitioner said, it was safe during pregnancy and for conceiving. So it seemed to me that was the only time I could get pregnant was in December, because that was my 3 pregnancies were all conceived in late December, early January. And yeah, what else can I say about my pregnancy with her? Oh, I had a lot of back pain. I had wicked heartburn. I had heartburn with my son, but it wasn't as bad as it was with her. And she didn't move around as much as Athrun did, which kind of worried me, but she still had like the so many like 10 movements per hour stuff, like, whereas Athrun didn't have much at all. Or she didn't have much at all, but he had a bunch when I was pregnant with my son. And yeah, and there wasn't any spotting or anything with her. And I did get sick, like I usually do. Like, I always get sick around the fall, or around summertime. I tend to end up getting something. So I was sick with her, and I just kind of weathered it with, like I said, orange juice and Tylenol and stuff, like the basic things. And didn't really. I took like little bits of Benadryl. That's my doctor suggested, but it wasn't very, very much at all. It was just trying to clear up the mucus. And my labor and delivery with her was the complete opposite of my son too. Hers was like, I was in the first stages of labor, like I was having mild contractions, but they weren't getting any closer together and they weren't getting any more painful. But not within a day, they wouldn't. But like they gradually over 2 weeks got stronger. And we went to the Wiggles concert with my son on the 27th of September. And it started getting worse. And I swear I probably was holding her in because I did not want my water to break there. And it didn't, thankfully. We had a get together for my brother and sister who graduated from college in the summer, and we finally got to having a get together celebration. And it was there when I was snuggling with my son to get him to sleep that my water broke. And with my son, my water didn't break. They had to break my water for me. Like, my membrane was so thick. But with her, it was just, I heard it pop. And then I was screaming to my mother, like, we gotta go. Someone's gonna and poor Athrun was crying because I startled him awake. And I thought the water wasn't gonna stop because there was so much. And even when I was in the hospital and waiting to deliver, there was constantly amniotic fluid flowing, and I was weirded out and impressed at the same time at how much my body could produce. And I was so thirsty the whole time because of that. I was losing so much fluid. And thankfully, I was producing that much because it was easier for to deliver her. I think I was only in labor, like active labor, for maybe like 2 hours or so, and I had fentanyl, which, oh god, I'd much rather the Dilaudid from that I have with my son, because it hit, but it made me so loopy. Like, it was an uncomfortable feeling. It was so uncomfortable. And then I had my epidural, and that's when I felt so much better, because I could still feel my contractions, thankfully. I didn't need as big of a inducing. Like, my contractions never stopped like they did with my son. But as a protocol, they had to boost me full of fluids, and then they had to give me the drip so that my contractions wouldn't stop. and but it wasn't as intense as it was with my son. But before I had my epidural, oh my god, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, it was so much more painful once my water broke, the contractions. It was so bad. And she came lightning fast at like 15 minutes of pushing, and I thought she was going to be huge because of how much weight I gained. But she was only 7 pounds, 3.2 ounces, and she was 19. It was like 19 and a half, I think, 19 and a half inches long. And she came at 10:20 at night. And I find that funny because they're literally night and day, but they're both Libras. And I'm a Virgo, and I was reading my astrology book, and the Virgo constellation is connected to the Libra constellation, and they're both signs for justice, which I found really interesting, that where me and my kids are connected in our zodiac signs and constellations. But yeah, and that's pretty much my pregnancy and labor and delivery with her. It's a very short way to put it. I don't have much room on my phone. But yeah, and she had the same thing as my son did, where they were a little jaundiced the day after birth, and as everyone on the channel knows, the breastfeeding went really well, and they're really supportive in there, and yeah. So that's my short vlog for today. Hope you guys have a good night. Hope I get to sleep soon. But my Mama Star Fox out.